guys, and welcome to
Gracie and Me Photography.
I've forgotten the name.
I thought you had. Right.
The reason why we've got loads and loads of cameras here is my daddy is sharing his past with us.
Yes.
About cameras.
To show you where we'll get to that in a moment. I should have tested before we went into the video, but nothing like a live demonstration. Right.
He's going to put down one of his
we'll
cameras.
start with this one.
As I pointed out.
This is a Kodak Brownie. A lot of people started with a Kodak Brownie back at the turn of the century. Now, this is a very simple camera. It's
wow.
Yeah, you don't have much to it at all. You just have this little reel. You have to move that to the other side when you get a film in, and then you have a roll with film on that winds across there, and then it has printed on there where the pictures are, and you have a little red window so you can see the back of the film as it winds in. Now you have to lock it up, otherwise it will open up. I think it's still light tight, but I've never tested this one. You then do that to wind on till it won't stop at the moment because it hasn't got film in, but just click, very short click on it. There's no focusing. The aperture is set, so there's absolutely nothing you can do, but you pretty much can only, I can get just your face in at that thing. It's fairly wide angle, but I would say that's for really, it's holiday snaps. That's for taking pictures on a bright sunny day. It's not for that one. No, it's for the next one we get to. Bright sunny day, perhaps on the beach, just a picture of your family. That's about all you could do. You would have a job focusing, I think. But
on the camera, you would have it.
It's all but for someone, I was probably your age when I started with that camera. That's easy to.
And I'm 6, and
be easy for you to deal with.
Ignore that. Ignore the doorbell.
Okay, see, I was trying not to draw attention to it. Right. Anyway, from that one, I moved on to using, when I was lucky enough and showed, that I was big and sensible enough to play with Daddy's cameras, my Daddy's cameras. Yeah. I used to use this one, which is a Voigtlander. And don't knock that one off.
It's a bit heavy.
A lot of these will be heavy. They're very well made cameras. It's got a very good lens on it. And people at home will want to see it. Right, it was my first 35mm film. So it's fairly what they would call normal. And you, again, very manual. You can change your aperture, which I'll show you in a moment. That's what that's for. You can change your speed. And you can even change your focus.
Wow!
But from 60 fingers in feet, from 60 feet down to about 3 feet, you had to judge. You've got lots of markings there. Well, exactly. It's not a rangefinder. You can't, what they call rangefinder, where you could do the focusing through the screen.
Can I?
You can have a little look. Yeah.
Hi guys. Wow, that's cool.
Right, now then.
Whoa, hello.
Let's see if I can show you, because this opens up quite nicely.
Whoa.
Right.
Oh, that's
I'll set that to B, and I'll show you what that does in a moment. Right, if we hold it up like that.
Where do we put this?
No, not just yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure you can see that. Can you see? Oh, yeah. I have to wind it on now. Can you see down there? If I...
Where?
I won't do it while I'm... Oh no, that's that one. It's that one. Yeah, here we go. Here, wind it on. Right. Probably won't get this on the camera, but no, leave that out of the way for a moment. Right, you see that?
Yeah.
There's some metal blades that are closing down and opening up.
Yeah.
That's known as your aperture. So when you talk about wide open, there's no blades seen. It's completely wide open. And if you shut it all the way down to a large aperture, this one is at f22, It's just a little teeny pinhole, and we'll go into how that affects your photos on a later date, but that's what that's for. Right. And well, you could see there, wind it on. Yeah, can you see the I'll put it on wide open. There's a, don't you need the light? You see it opens up. This is what's called a leaf shutter. It's a bit like the aperture, it just opens up and closes to expose the film. Now, if I put it on about a 30th of a second, see, you could see it open, can't you?
Yeah.
If I put it on to 50th of a second, you hardly see it move, but it's very fast. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you can alter the amount of light that comes into, because this is still film. You can alter the amount of light that comes in by either by opening and closing your aperture, or by keeping the shutter open for longer or shorter time. Right, but here we go. I will get to that.
Cute.
If I put that on there,
Oh.
I don't know how well this is going to work with a set of black cameras on a black background, but I put that on where the film is with a light as well. So yeah, open that up. Oh, better. Got to wind it on.
Is there a light there?
Right. Yeah, it can only. Can you see that there? You could just about see where it's projecting the picture of the light onto the back there.
Oh yeah. Guys, you have to see this, but you can't.
It would be very difficult. We probably should have set up the experiment a bit better. Hopefully you can see that the image being produced at the back of the camera after it goes through the lens is upside down. You've got the blue skies at the bottom of the camera, and the roof across the way of the house across the way is at the top. If you want to do that. Anyway,
So guys can see it.
I've got an example of a photo that was taken with that. Now this was no, I will hold it
Ow.
because you said you couldn't hold it over here. Right, hopefully I haven't got any thing on there.
I
Right,
know it.
this was a bit of a happy accident. It's a picture of you as a baby. Mummy's got you in a carrier and we went on holiday together. But it shows that you do not know until you've processed the film that you've got the focusing wrong. It's completely out of focus. However, it shows a don't get in the way. Let people see at home. It gives you an idea of how good, measure of what some people like, what is called pleasing from the lens. And can you see at this sort of distance in the leaves, it's quite circular.
Isn't that cool, guys?
That is what people strive to find in a lens that's called swirly bokeh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice name.
So they would like things to be out of focus. This is completely out of focus. You don't get it. Get it quite at this sort of distance where the leaves are. You see? Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
6 years old. How young am I there?
You're not even a year old then. That was our first holiday. Yeah.
I'm
Anyway.
0.
Zero. We're moving on from the Voigtlander.
I'll keep that on my lap and keep it
Keep
safe.
it safe. Keep it safe.
I'll
All right.
keep it safe.
From the Voigtlander.
He headed to that camera.
Can I just get my train of thought, please, Grace? Right. Calm down.
Now.
Right. I know, strange times at the moment, and you're going to be doing a lot of learning at home. Yes, exactly.
Don't say it.
I won't say it.
Say
I
it.
won't say it. No.
Guys, ignore it.
I'm just saying, we've got to get through this, okay? Right. Okay. Now then, as I say, I had a lot of hand-me-downs at that time.
What is that?
Well, when my dad, bought a camera, I would use it with him at times, but on holiday, obviously, he would take it. And but then I would get to use it when he got a new camera. Now, at this sort of time, my sister, who is older, she
Her name is Karen, by the way.
she was into sports, and there wasn't much chance of taking a fast runner with that camera. So my dad bought an OM10, an Olympus OM10, just with a standard 50mm f1.8 lens. It's fairly, you can buy these for next to nothing,
Dada,
but they are really good lenses.
Dada, should we show the viewers how heavy it is?
Not this one, no, not at the moment, because this has
one.
got a. I know. We're getting working our way up to it. This has got a battery grip. It's got a flash on it. This is quite heavy, but this isn't sort of standard, as it were. Right. Anyway, I used this for a while, but Granddad passed this on to me when we went on a beach holiday. This got loads, because it's not weather sealed. Got a lot of sand in it. It had a very windy day, and the shutter started sticking.
Oh dear.
So yeah, he very kindly he passed this on to me, and I managed to get it. Actually, my sister Karen got it cleaned for me at Grays of London. Did a very good job to clean it out, and it did very many years of service. But as I say, I had a lot of hand-me-down. The only camera, which was when I was at school, I bought for my own. Well, it was a birthday present. Was a Zenith.
Carrier.
That is really heavy.
Yes, it is, guys. I am embarrassed to drop it.
Yeah. This camera I used to take in my school bag with my PE kit, all my books for school, and this camera, I was weighed down. So when I had the Olympus OM10 passed on to me, I was very glad to have that. If you can compare that one to that, that's an OM20. It's very similar to the OM10, and that is a lot lighter to have.
Very light, guys.
Very pleased to have an Olympus. Anyway, that lens.
It's fine.
Don't mention things like that. Right, this another very good lens, Helios lens. The camera itself doesn't work anymore, but I use the lens. And
other cameras.
I'll tell you a bit more about that later on when we get to that bit. But again, that's another lens with what they call swirly bokeh. It's one of my vintage lenses. Anyway, from there,
guys, remember what swirly bokeh is?
Okay. From there, Grandad started into the Nikon line, which is why I've got a lot of Nikons here.
Yeah.
And when he did
Nikon, where's another Nikon?
One that I'm handing down to you is Nikon. That's Nikon. Yeah.
This.
We'll work to that one. Yes.
That.
We'll work to that one. Yeah. Let's try and keep in order, Gracie. Try and keep in order. Right. Yeah. When Grandad he passed on. He went on to a Nikon camera. He passed on his OM20 to me, and then I used that. We went on when my father retired. He bought himself a nice big Nikon SLR camera. Passed this to me, and we went on a tour around the United States. And I bought a nice lens to go with that, a nice travel zoom lens. So that I never changed the lens. I just had the one lens on there. That was really, really quite good. Anyway, I was quite jealous that he had autofocus. It has manual, it has automatic on the exposure, but no, it's all manual focusing. So I bought second-hand an Olympus OM707. Now these are quite rare now, because they have a problem with their battery door. This one, although a little bit damaged, is intact and would still work. I haven't used it, but
because he wants to be careful with it and don't
Well, exactly. This one is a bit of a museum piece and stays in my cabinet.
We've got a special cabinet in the living room of his.
Don't give things like that away. Anyway, the problem with this had a little window, and it had an LED light which lit up bright red people you'd taken a photo of to help with the autofocusing. 'Cause it's quite an early autofocusing camera. And now let me put this down gently. And that would shine in people's eyes like I was showing a laser in their eye. And I got lots of complaints. So, it wasn't very...
Think of a laser in your eye.
Yes, it's
Would
not
it
very
hurt?
nice. Yes, it will hurt. Right. So, from there,
Think of one of those.
I kind of tried to match Grandad. And this was the time I was starting to earn my own money. So I was able to spend a bit more on cameras. So I've got a zoom lens, 28 to 80 millimeter zoom lens, and it's a Nikon F50. It's fairly bottom of the line camera, but I was very pleased. It did some good shots with that. It has built-in flash. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I can
Wow.
bring it out. Yes.
Let me have a go.
Oh. And has lots of features that I hadn't used before. It's a very, very good camera.
Don't bonk any.
I won't bonk anything. No.
Be worried.
Now from there, it was kind of about the time when digital cameras were starting, and you could get an equivalent to this as digital, but they were thousands of pounds. They were very expensive.
Which one is it, Dad?
Well, it's not there. But anyway, we have come into it. The thing is,
it?
I then I was wanting to go into digital, but part of me was processing. I was scanning the film that I made, and so I was processing it on in Photoshop on a computer. When I turned the film into digital pictures. Now, to try and get a digital camera, I went for this one, which is one I've put down to you. Now, I did a lot of research on this, and I was trying to think of a camera, trying to find a camera that would help me progress when I did go up to a digital SLR.
This is a no, guys. He taught me how to use this camera.
It's what we are using to
Yeah.
do the photo.
Wait,
It has a little bit different to what you would see on a camera now. It's a compact flash, which you would find in the more professional Canon camera.
Can I hold it?
You can hold it. It's fairly robust.
Same type as our TV.
Yeah, okay.
Literally, it is.
I know. And the other thing that this camera did, it had rather than JPEG. Well, it did have JPEG, but it had TIFF files, which are very, very close to.
What are TIFF files?
They are uncompressed. They do not have. They keep all of their information. They're very large files. They're equivalent to what I would look for in a digital camera, point at digital cameras, what they would call a RAW file, where you're getting just the raw data off the sensor. And that's as close as I could get in the time, in my price range.
I want
So
to keep my camera in my lap.
fair enough. So that is the one we're going to use to teach you how to take pictures.
And I have already used quite a lot.
You have, yes. I think we might have to have a look to see how full the card is.
And
Anyway,
then switch the card.
from there, well, as I say, I was thinking, oh yes, I'll be future-proof by using compact flash cards and things, which at the time were very expensive. Any memory card was expensive, but I wanted one which was going to do me into the future. I then bought a Nikon. I'll pick this one up, although I know it's a film camera. A Nikon D50 was my first digital SLR, which I could afford, and
I can hold it.
you can hold it. Okay. Now, as it turned out, that used SD cards, which most cameras pretty much are standard right up till modern day. So yeah, I didn't actually use the compact flash, but never mind. I sold that D50. I think it only had a 6 megapixel sensor.
He has got way too many cameras.
I
as
know.
You can
I sold.
see.
Yeah, I sold that one, and that's where I started to fuel my passion for what they call GAS,
What's GAS?
Gear Acquisition Syndrome, which, as I say, when I sold it, I had my Nikon. That's the 3100. But to save money, I've got Sigma lenses, but this is a really good Sigma lens.
It's a tiny bit heavy.
That was my go-to camera, and the idea was it has video as well as stills. But I found I took it on honeymoon with me before you were born,
Yes.
and
The next year after the honeymoon, they found out that Mummy had me in the
okay,
in her
honeymoon
tummy.
baby. I know.